Hotel Staffing and HR, in conjunction with PatriotTV.live, bring you Play Harder Radio, the premier patriotic sports and BS talk show from America's Gulf Coast. Things that matter in the world of sports and things that don't matter to anyone. It's just Faja's opinion. Where the F-bomb is allowed, but frowned upon. This is Play Harder Radio. And now, your host, James Grant.
All right. Welcome back to our second week on PatriotTV.live and another Play Harder Radio show. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Todd?
I am stressed out. But
really?
Other than that,
really?
Really, I
You're
promise.
stressing the shit out of me tonight.
Well, you know.
I'm about ready. You know, it's a good thing the F-bomb is allowed. It may not even be frowned upon tonight. I hope everybody got to see that new. Mine's turned up awful loud. It looks like I can tell on the recordings it's that way too,
Okay, well.
and I can see it by the monitor up there. It's like full on red.
Okay.
How's that? Still doing it, but I don't know.
Well,
Anyway, welcome back.
maybe
Welcome back.
Your brother will keep us straight.
If he's listening, if that son, well, I got to be careful. Anyway, yeah, the new intro, way to get that together here in, last minute, under pressure.
That's okay. That's okay.
You're almost like Andrei Vasilevsky in goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. 1-0 shutout win for the Bolts. We'll talk about that maybe in a minute. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but under pressure, that would be a good song.
Yeah, Ice, Vanilla Ice did that, right? He did some.
I don't think so.
It wasn't him?
Under pressure.
No, he did a remix.
That wasn't him.
He did a remix, you know.
You should look it up and see who it is. If Gabby, you listen? Come on. You're my statistician, fact checker. You're my fact checker. Keep me on point with Facebook, right? So, hope you like the new intro. We don't. It doesn't matter how much time we have to get something ready. It always comes down to the last minute.
Last minute.
Jeez.
Okay.
Big day in Pensacola, Florida today. The Blue Angels are back and flying on Pensacola Beach this weekend.
Is that right? That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I did not
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
I mean, you know what? Yesterday they did Breakfast with the Blues. I tried to send look in the Play Harder. By the way, there's 3 tabs open on the browser. All right?
Okay.
Quarterback 54, the LeBron, whiny-ass LeBron, and then the emails open. See if the Blue Angels video came through in the 3rd tab.
Right now, you just have LeBron James.
Look at the email tab.
Okay, your email tab.
Look at.
Blue Angels. Okay, in your emails.
Yeah. Can you call up that video and make it play?
I can download it here and.
Can you just play it on the or is that too hard on the screen?
We've already tried to do that. I'm gonna open it and do it in a window.
All right, do your thing. Maybe we'll get it together. Maybe we won't. My daughter and I, Hannah, she called me earlier in the week and she goes, "Let's go out to the beach on Thursday and watch the Blues." Okay, you're playing stuff.
Yeah, hold on. Just keep talking. Your daughter. Go back to your daughter.
And I'm still killing the mic monitor, it looks like.
Okay, that's good.
So
It's good that we're able to.
it's
hear
all up in the red and everything is cool?
You know, I'm doing something else right now, but keep talking.
Right. I want it to sound good out there. I don't want to be blowing everybody out.
Okay.
Anyway, she's like, "Dad, let's go out to the beach on Friday," and then she changed it to Thursday. When they play in Pensacola, it's a completely different show than they do anywhere else. I think anywhere else they get a practice day on Friday. They do the show on Saturday. They call it a practice day Friday, but it's not practice. It's the show. It's really a 2-day show. And so it's 2 days in town and out. Here, they do Breakfast with the Blues, which Casino Beach Bar sponsors, I believe. I see it up there. It's cool. And on Wednesday morning. And then on Thursday, today, they did a 2 o'clock show with just the Blue Angels. And then the next 2 days, they start at 11 and do all the other local stuff, local shows. Local planes, pilots. In years past, they've had some F-16s and stuff like that. Obviously, nothing like watching the Blues fly. But I'm telling you, it is... it never gets old. It never gets old. You ready to play it?
Next to you. It's up on a watch out with you. That was cool.
Right? One more time?
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it was awesome. It was so awesome to have them back again and flying. They have not really flown since 2017 here. In 2018, they had a super short show because of weather. The wind, I believe, shut them down. And then in 2019, they got shut down because of the hurricane coming through, rain. And then 2020 was the BS that was 2020.
Well, what I want to know is, have they opened the museum back up? Because for a while there, I mean, I've had several friends that have come into town and people that want to go, and you can't get into the museum unless you're active duty.
Well, But the Blue Angels are flying, so.
Well, that used to be part of the museum, so I'm hoping that if the Blue Angels are flying again, maybe the museum's back open too.
Well, they've been doing shows around the country, so
Yeah.
that stuff's been going on. But I asked one of my friends this is his new, Gabby, who listens to the show usually. He has a new house down on the beach. He moved in last year, I believe. Last summer, and of course the show got canceled because of COVID, the COVID BS. But this was his first year seeing the Blues with his boys, and I sent him a text and asked him if the boys were ready to enlist yet.
That's awesome.
And his response was, Nathan's smart and he wants to be an astronaut, so I guess he'll be enlisted. But
Cool.
He goes, that's a little bit higher status than the Blues.
He'll be part of the Space Force.
You know what? That's the next note on my list
That
right
was
here.
my intro.
And that's what he sent to me. He said Space Force, and I'm like, hell yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna have they decided where that's gonna be yet?
Space Force?
I mean, at Tyndall would be.
I think the first base is going to be on the moon.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought on the front or the back side of the moon.
The dark side of the
The
moon.
dark side. Okay. Yeah.
Get it? Why don't you have?
I should have dark side of the moon called up and.
You know what?
playing it
You're doing
right
my
now.
job right now.
Right.
Why don't you have Dark Side of the Moon set up and ready to go? Why don't you? You have to be intuitive about the show.
You need to show me your notes before the show instead of during the show.
You mean like I said a couple weeks
And
ago
then-
that I would print you a copy of my notes and give them
Yeah.
to you?
And then as long as you gave them to me more than like when we sit down here, it would help. But that's
Right?
We're doing fine. We're doing fine.
We're doing good. Yeah, so the Blues are back, and it was spectacular. The traffic was crazy going out to the beach. A 15-minute drive that took Hannah and I, that normally takes us 15 minutes from my house to the beach, took us about an hour and 15 minutes.
On the 4th. Is that what you're
No,
we're talking-
today.
Oh, today. Oh, okay.
Today, going out to see the Blues today, from which that video was taken,
Oh, okay.
from the 17th floor of the beach club on Pensacola Beach.
Okay.
Friend of mine, Dr. Brad, has a party at his condo there every year. So today was Clyde Busby's birthday. So we celebrated his birthday up there for the with the Blues. So
On
there
a Thursday. Go figure.
Today's his birthday, yeah. Because today is his actual birthday.
Rick says shalom. So just
Rick, what's up, my man? Jeffrey Lean, what's going on, brother? Michael, I see you out there. So I'm sitting at the house yesterday
okay.
afternoon after going to the gym, eating lunch, and sitting there, and I get that bam, 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 bam knock on the back door. That hard-ass knocking on the door.
Like somebody's coming to see.
Like who knocks on the door really? What group of people, individuals, organizations, whatever, knock on the door like the Hulk?
That's how they're going to come around to people's house asking if they've had their shot, right?
Yeah, we can get into that, Nick. So that's good.
Okay.
But law enforcement is who knocks on the door like a mofo, right?
Okay, so you as
and I'm like, you know what? That better
come and gotten you or something.
Well, check it out.
Okay.
I believe I've kept my nose pretty clean, but I'm like, I guess that's my daughter or the landlord because I don't know why anybody else would be at the damn back door.
Okay.
And I do park back there, and it's on the corner.
You need to move your car.
So anyway, they knock on the back door like that, and I open the door, and the dude's standing there with a clipboard, and he goes, "Hi, I'm with the U.S. Marshal's office." And I'm like, oh, shit.
Okay.
I mean, I had a moment of,
what have I done?
Yeah, what have I done? Because I may have, but I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I don't. I've lived on the edge, I guess, in the past.
Your DNA is just out there in the world.
Some stuff still just, lingers out there. Like, is this coming back to haunt me?
Right, right.
So, and be watching out for Nick. He should be showing up. You have the Zoom up?
Oh, of course not.
Nick, we'll have let me text Nick real quick.
Well, I also need to know what Nick's name is.
Nick Turnbull.
Well, won't you text me that spelling?
Turnbull, T-U-R-N, bull.
Hold on. Let me call up something to put this on.
Don't talk. All right, good. Oh, U.S. Marshal. So U.S. Marshal, he goes, with the U.S. Marshal. You know what? He didn't, I don't think he gave me a name. And he said he was looking for someone, and I'm like, we're talking about it and everything. You got a ticket. And it's the U.S. Marshal. He said he didn't show for a court appearance. He got a ticket, and he didn't show for a court appearance, and it was a U.S. Marshal looking for him. That doesn't make sense. I thought I've seen Tommy Lee Jones as a U.S. Marshal. They go after more hardened criminals than somebody who got a ticket and doesn't show for court. So
I'm going to ask you another. Well, hold on.
Don't ask me a question about your job.
Well,
and so, anyway, I had a Marine from the Marine Corps League 5K run for the kids that Tell sponsors every year is the title sponsor for. I had one of those T-shirts on. As soon as I opened the door, though, he goes, "Nice T-shirt." I'm like, "Thanks, man." And he asked me if I served. I'm like, no. And then he said he served from 93 to 98. He had a Grunt Gear Marines T-shirt on.
So he was wearing a T-shirt?
Yeah, he was dressed. Well, the field guys dress civilian-like.
Oh, he was undercover.
He was clean cut and everything. But he didn't show me any ID. I didn't ask. I guess I was just an idiot and supposed that he was telling me the truth. But one of my friends was questioning me after, and he goes, "I call BS."
I just admitted Nick, by the way.
Okay. Nick, we'll get you on in a second here. But he goes, "I call BS." What in the heck was that? So he goes, "I don't know." He was casing the place. I would think they would more observe, but it looked like he had an actual copy of a ticket on his clipboard. But I just thought it was weird that a U.S. Marshal's coming. It weirded me out. It got me thinking, maybe you talk too much about your political opinion.
Huh.
That couldn't be me, though. That couldn't get me in trouble, though.
No.
Could it? I would think not. Anyway, that was interesting. So that gave me a moment of pause last night. So I slept with a 9mm close.
So now they know you have a gun. So
No, they don't know. How would they know? They weren't sleeping with me.
Well, you just said if they're watching the show to get.
Oh, yeah.
So now they know.
No, they're not. Oh, yeah.
Armed.
If they're on me, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm allowed to. So.
Okay.
So in my weekly, this guy, my weekly slam, I want to be positive, right? You know, I'm a very positive person in every way.
Sure.
And I thought, well, maybe I'll give LeBron a break this week.
Until he's not going to call in and stop.
And
the show
so I wish he would call in. I would
Just
love to talk to LeBron.
Stop the show.
I would like to talk to Bronny.
He only does that though whenever you talk about his son, right?
So here's the deal. So earlier this week, I see on Fox News that he confronted a PA announcer for about who was announcing his son's game, and I guess it turned out what he said was, I have it called up there.
Okay. Where is?
Never mind.
Okay.
We don't need it. You can go find it. Just look up LeBron confronts PA announcer at Suns basketball game. Anyway, the announcer said, the only reason that Bron, they call him Bron, his son, I guess, gets those calls is because it's in LeBron James's gym, St. Vincent High School.
Okay.
So because it was at his school, he gets up and comes out of the crowd and confronts the PA announcer.
Right. I heard some of it. Or is that what this is here?
Yeah,
This
and the two
unfiltered media?
announcers that are watching it and announcing the game are just sucking up to him. Well, the competitor in LeBron, he wants it to be about his son, not about him. If he wanted it to be about his son and not about him, he would have shut his mouth.
Okay, so
What are you doing?
I was going to play the audio if you wanted to.
No, I don't. No, not now.
Okay.
Because they just suck up to LeBron. Well, the competitor of LeBron, he just wants it to be about his son, so he's getting up. I'm like, yeah, this guy's a freaking head case. He's just a pile. He is just a total pile.
Yeah.
And so anyway, a friend of mine that I went to high school with on Facebook, today I see she makes a post. What do you dislike, or what can't you stand? What can't you stand, Penny Slocum, Korea? What can't you stand that everybody else likes? And people are putting hot dogs, mustard, Mexican food, jalapenos, and I'm like, LeBron. I thought it was funny. A couple other people got a laugh out of it, but everybody's posting food and shit. And then she posts after that. She goes, I can't stand there. Then she said she couldn't stand Elvis.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, what? I didn't know anybody that can't stand Elvis. Yeah. I asked her to call into the show, but, Anyway, let's get go ahead and admit Nick, and let's talk to Nick, since I'm rambling and it's been about 20 minutes.
Nick is admitted. He just needs to unmute himself, and I will bring him in.
Nick,
I'm here.
There's Nick.
Nick, what's up, brother?
How you doing, Jim? Thank you for having me on.
Hell yeah, thank you for coming on.
Of course. I hope you guys are doing all right down there in Pensacola with the hurricane coming through.
You know what? I think it's pretty much past us, isn't it?
Oh, it is?
It's past the whole state. Yeah.
Yeah, it's come through. You're about to get some stormy weather, I think.
Yeah, it's not looking too good outside right now, but how'd you guys do? It wasn't too bad?
No, we didn't really. I mean, we had a little rain early in the week, and that was about it. Yeah. It stayed pretty much east of us.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. How's your day been?
Pretty good. Pretty good day, pretty easy day. I went by my local facility that I work out at, about 15 minutes away from my house. I got a good workout in and threw some BP. So yeah, that
Nice.
was my day.
So for everybody listening or will be listening, Nick is a is the son of my friend Joe Turnbull. His dad and I worked together at Peach State Roofing a few years ago. She's 8, 9 years ago when we were both there, and I went to see Nick play at John Carroll High School. After Carroll High School, he went on to pitch at Hartford Community College. Then he went to the University of Maryland for a year, 2019. Then he went to UNC Charlotte last year and this year. And he came on. I thought it'd be great to have him on the show, talk about a little bit about college baseball, maybe a few other things, and get to know him a little bit. So I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thank you.
Did you watch? Are you a hockey fan?
I do like the sport, but I don't really watch it too much. I did kind of check in on the game last night. What's it? Tampa Bay. They ended up winning the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row.
Yep, second year in a row.
Yeah.
They 1-0 win. The goalie Andrei Vasilevsky was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, which is the MVP of the Cup, Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup, and so pretty good series. I mean, I liked it. It was a good series for me because I wanted to see them smash the Canadians, which they did 4-1. It was a 5-game series, just because Montreal won't allow more than 3,500 fans in their stadium. So I think that's stupid. So I wanted them to get crushed, and they did.
Yeah, they did. But no, I do like hockey. I think it's a cool sport. I don't really know too much about it. Up here in Maryland, we don't really have too many youth hockey programs going around. So I wasn't really introduced to the sport until I kind of started paying attention to the Capitals a little bit.
Who won the Cup win in 19 or 18 or 19?
Yeah, something like that.
I had a bunch of friends up there, and they were pretty excited when that went down to have the Caps win it. So, but working out, what's your give us a little, John Carroll. How'd you end up at Hartford Community College?
All right, yeah. So I played high school baseball at John Carroll. It's a Catholic school in Bel Air, Maryland. We competed in the MIAA conference, which is basically all private schools in the state of Maryland. And as far as a high school baseball conference, I thought it was pretty competitive for high school ball. I played against some really good baseball players who went on to play at Division I schools, and about my recruiting process, I was a little bit of a late bloomer coming out of high school. I was kind of like your just stock high school player up until about my late senior year.
Right.
And I kind of got a little bit more coordinated, kind of cleaned up my arm action a little bit, and I had a little bit of a velo jump, and I'd say the middle half of my senior season. And during that year, or in your senior year, that's pretty late for recruiting. A lot of high school baseball players, they take care of the recruiting process the summer going into your senior year, so right after your junior year. And so by that time, when I kind of had a little bit of a velo jump.
What's a velo jump?
A velo jump is when you have an increase in velocity.
Okay, velocity. All right, yeah, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so for me, I was, before this velo jump, I was around 82 to 85 miles an hour. And I kind of jumped up to about 86 to 89 miles an hour. And, if that happened a year before, I would have definitely gotten some Division I attention at a high school.
Right.
But this happened pretty late in my senior year. And a lot of the schools that I was interested in had already been done recruiting. So there's no spots left for me at, like I said, the schools that I was interested in. So I kind of knew right then and there that I'd probably have to go the junior college route. And Hartford Community College is the local community college in my county. And that year they were coming off a really solid year. And they were headed to the Junior College World Series, which is in Grand Junction, Colorado. And that's kind of where you want to be if you play junior college baseball.
Right.
It's really competitive. A lot of high draft players.
Good
Power
baseball.
Five.
Good baseball.
It is. It's really good baseball. And I took note of that, and I had reached out to the coach, and he had actually already knew who I was, which was kind of funny. And I said, I'm kind of interested in coming to Hartford Community College. Like, what's it looking like? And he said, yeah, no, we would love to have you. So I had committed to Hartford. And so, yeah, I started at Hartford in the fall of 2016. Had an okay freshman year, nothing outstanding, nothing spectacular. Definitely had a lot of work to do. And I wasn't so much of a pitcher. I'd say I was like a bit of a thrower. Like,
yeah.
I didn't have great stuff. I was a pretty average pitcher, like I said. So in that off season, that summer of 2017, I hit the weight room pretty hard. I got a really good pitching coach who I still go to this day. And we kind of just, started from ground zero. And,
younger guy.
He's a bit younger. Yeah, he's younger. I want to say 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar. I mean, I don't remember the name, but I remember the story about him a little bit with your dad and some of the progress you were making with him.
Yeah, no. And like a little side note, I was actually his like first or second client that he had at this at his facility. So
you helped him with some camps too, didn't you?
Yeah, I help him out here and there. I mean, he helped me out, so I got to help him out. But his place is called the Velo Farm. It's you can check them out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. They're located in Forest Hill, Maryland. But anyways, so yeah, back to this. So we kind of started from ground zero, and I kind of redid my throwing motion, my mechanics. And I kind of worked on that for the whole summer and then the whole fall essentially. And come springtime, I was probably the best pitcher I had been to in that point in my career. I had another velocity jump. I was throwing 90 to 93 miles an hour. And while I was working out at the Velo Farm in the winter, and when I got to school, I had got some footage of myself throwing, and that's kind of what you do when you're trying to get recruited. You get some footage of yourself, and you kind of get it out there in social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and a number of schools started following me on Twitter, on Instagram, and I started receiving contact. And one of the schools that I had been contacted by was University of Maryland, and they were the main school that I guess were recruiting me the heaviest. And, the season hadn't even started. My sophomore season at Hartford hadn't even started yet. So I took note of that. I was like, these guys, I think they really want me. And I took a visit there and I loved it. So yeah, I committed to University of Maryland before my sophomore season even started. And I had a pretty good sophomore year. I was a starter. I don't know how many, I can't really remember my stats to this day, but I was a starter. We went, kind of far in playoffs, and then that season ended. And then the summer of 2017, I moved into University of Maryland in the fall or in the summer, and began working out there. And then I got placed into a collegiate summer league in Baltimore, and I played in that collegiate summer league in Baltimore, and then I moved on to the fall season at University of Maryland.
And that was in 18?
18, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, 18, my bad. I think I had my years mixed up.
All right, cool. And so you were at Maryland for 1 year, is that right?
I was at Maryland for 1 year. I was coming off a really good fall at Maryland, and then we moved into the season. I had a pretty good first half of the season, and then ran into a little bit of trouble that second half. And then the season ended, and then we moved into summer ball where I was playing out in West Virginia. And then I started off, I had I want to say my first 3 outings at West Virginia when I was playing in West Virginia. They weren't too good. And then I kind of at that point I decided that I was like, maybe I should, explore other options as far as, hitting the transfer portal and then seeing, what's out there for me and, maybe getting into a different atmosphere and a different program. And I think that will be good for me. So I had made the decision about, 3 weeks into summer ball to transfer out of Maryland. And when I entered the transfer portal, it's kind of a crazy process, and the transfer portal is great for kids who are trying to transfer from schools. And when I went in there, I'd received, contact from many different schools. And, one of the schools was University of North Carolina at Charlotte, UNC Charlotte. And they had just hired a new coach who was a pitching coach at UNC Chapel Hill. And his name was Robert Woodard. And, he gave me a call, and, I was definitely interested. And I went on to visit there and loved it. And then committed to UNC Charlotte about a month into the transfer portal. And, it was a great spot for me. I don't think I could have ended up in a better place.
Nice. So you at Maryland, that was kind of your decision to leave. You weren't unhappy with the way you were treated or anything, or like that. You just thought it was a better move to a better move for you personally to move on.
I think it was just a better move just to, start fresh in a program and then definitely go somewhere where I knew I was going to get the ball. And that was kind of my mindset going into the transfer portal.
You had like 19 appearances at Maryland, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I had 19, something like that, 18, 19 appearances and about 19 innings, I want to say.
Okay. So you wouldn't have minded a few more innings than that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that I was upset with the amount that I was getting the ball at Maryland. It was just, I just I felt like I just wanted to go into a different program.
Right.
And just kind of like how I left it with my pitching coach. It was very mutual, and they were totally behind me and all right with me leaving the program, and they supported me, and that's how I kind of ended up at UNC.
Did you and how was Coach Vaughn at Maryland?
Coach Vaughn, he's a good guy. He's definitely a good guy, and he's a good coach. All the guys like him. He's definitely a player's coach, and he's definitely young for a head coach in Power 5 baseball. The whole staff is young, and I think that definitely plays in his advantage. And I think he relates to us players, and he definitely runs a tight shift and runs a very structured program as well. And I enjoyed playing for him, and it's actually kind of funny. We played University of Maryland in the regional this past year, the NCAA regional. And, I ran into him and said hi, and that was it. But no, he's definitely a good guy. Nothing bad to say about him.
You beat them in the regional, in the first game of the regional, 13-10. I mean, a slow pitch softball game almost.
Oh, it was an absolute slugfest, that game. I forget how many home runs we had, but I mean, it just seemed as if there wasn't a clean ending in that game. Like there's base runners on at all points. And we ended up winning 13-10 that game, and then played East Carolina, the host, Saturday night, the next night. And I mean, boy, that was a great game. And
7-5.
Yeah, our starter, he gave us a hell of an outing, an absolute hell of an outing. I want to say he threw seven and a third of no-run baseball, and he totally shut these guys down. And I think at that point we had a 4-0 lead, a 4-1 lead maybe on them.
Wow.
And just kind of came down to the later half of the game, and momentum just totally shifted into their favor, and they kind of just took over the ball game. And I want to say they scored 3 or 4 in the 7th or in the 8th, and then it was a tie ball game. It was 4-4, and then we had a home run to go up 5-4, and then they just took it.
Yeah, I think your reliever gave up 3 runs in that game. Those final 3, if I remember looking back at the box score correctly. Then you lost. I mean, then it had to be a little bit heartbreaking. With that next elimination game back against Maryland with a 2-1 loss. That had to be, a 2-1 game after that 13-10 and, after 23 runs and 12 runs, that had to sting a little bit.
It definitely did, and it especially stung a little bit getting eliminated by your old buddies and your old
Right.
school. But no, I was happy for them, to see them to have success. But I'll tell you, after that 7-5 loss to East Carolina Saturday night, and basically having momentum the whole game, that really took it out of us, and we were pretty defeated after that. Like we thought we had it, and in fact, we knew we had that game in our hands. And come on that bus ride home, it was dead silent, and we all knew that we had it, and we thought that we would be in the driver's seat if we had taken that game, and we probably had that regional.
Yeah.
But it's just the way the game goes, and we knew we had a tough game the next day, Sunday morning, and our starter Matt Brooks gave us a great 8 innings. He worked pretty quick. Shut them out for 8 straight innings, and then kind of fell apart like it was, or like the ECU game kind of fell apart at the end a little bit, and they ended up walking it off.
For everybody everybody listening out there, 8 innings, to give up. Did he give up the 2, or he probably just gave up 1 then? I'm guessing, and
say
that they walked it off. Yeah.
Right. I want to say that he did not give up 2. I think maybe the 1 was his inherited runner when we had a reliever come in.
Right.
But yeah, the 2 were not his runs.
But just so a quality start in Major League Baseball is 5 innings and 3 runs is a quality start. So, he gave you a hell of a game coming off that ECU game.
It was a pitcher's duel. Maryland threw a really good arm out there against us. He gave up a solo shot to our third baseman Austin Knight earlier in the game, but other than that, I mean, he worked quick. He kind of shut us down. I mean, it was just a pitcher's duel that game, and they just ended up on top.
Your dad and I were talking about you, I don't know, a week or 2 before the selection show, and I was watching with a friend whose his wife's they're Miami fans, so we were all watching the selection show, and when I saw you guys get selected, that was pretty cool to know that you were going to get that opportunity to play in the tournament. It had to be a great, despite that you didn't get it out of the regional, it had to be a great experience to be there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was definitely an awesome experience, sitting in our meeting room and having ESPN there, and, getting all hyped up when we got selected. And it was actually kind of crazy because we had no idea where we were going to go. I mean, that's just how the selection show goes. You have no idea where they're going to put you. And so we didn't know if we were going to be put on a flight to Oxford in 2 days or a flight to Tallahassee or what. And we got selected for the ECU regional, and we were pumped for that. I mean, we were just like, all right, let's go. Like, this is a regional that we can win. This is a very winnable regional. And, it's just not the way the game goes, like I said. But, it was definitely an exciting time, and having the opportunity to compete in an NCAA regional for my final season is an awesome experience that I'll definitely never forget.
Well, I can see, looking at the teams in that regional and the fact that you guys won 40 games this year, 40 games is a lot of games to win. Mm-hmm. You had to be excited about that regional because five, if I remember correctly, 5 unseeded teams made it out of the regionals, which is pretty good number of teams, which just, anybody can win.
Yeah, that's the way. It's just like the NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, anybody can win. And, we were feeling confident. We had played East Carolina in a 3-game series earlier in the year, and although we got swept, we played them pretty good. I want to say we lost 7-4, 3-1, 3-1. And I think, anybody who watched that series or who was at that series definitely could tell that, that could have gone either way the whole time. I mean, it was a really good series, and that's why we were feeling good. We were like, all right, we can beat these guys.
A hit there, a hit here or there, a couple of pitches, better pitches here or there, and it turns it all around.
exactly.
How did you like? Which did you enjoy? I mean, it's the Big Ten is Power Five, and one of the premier conferences, and your UNCC's in Conference USA. Which conference did you enjoy playing around the league more?
That's a tough one. That's a really really tough question because I mean they both have. It was a really good series, and that's why we were. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard a little echo, but
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
but that's definitely a tough question because both conferences have really cool aspects to them. I mean, when you're playing in the Big Ten, you're playing at universities like Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, University of Illinois. We're also University of Minnesota. So you're playing at really prestigious universities and, competing in some beautiful stadiums. And then, in the Conference USA, we're traveling to Rice in Houston, or we're traveling to FIU in Miami. We're going to Louisiana Tech in Ruston, Louisiana. And so both conferences definitely had their perks to it. I will say that the Big Ten, in April, you're playing at some pretty cold places,
right?
And you're not playing at places like Miami. But I really can't say I can choose one of the two because they both were great conferences, and I enjoyed playing in both. But I will admit this is a little bit of a hot take, but I personally after playing in both, I would say that Conference USA, the competition in Conference USA kind of is a little bit better than the conference that I played against in the Big Ten.
Overall.
Each year's overall. But I mean, I would say each year's different, obviously with recruiting classes and, who's having a good year and who's not. But I think Conference USA this year was, pretty solid. I mean, you had Louisiana Tech, who was nationally ranked the whole year. You had Southern Miss, who was nationally ranked the whole year. And then you also had teams who were, who weren't ranked, but still pretty good teams like FAU, FIU, which other teams? Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, and stuff like that. So just still really competitive teams towards the middle to lower half of the conference.
That's all those teams play good baseball. Now I'm a Michigan fan. I grew up in Michigan. I'm a Michigan fan. They went to the finals and got beat by Vanderbilt in 19. And you had a good outing at Michigan, I believe.
We were home against Michigan.
Okay.
But I threw against Michigan twice. I want to say I threw against them in the Saturday game at home, and then I threw against them in the Big Ten tournament in Omaha, Nebraska against them. And I threw pretty well. I think both times I faced them. And I mean, that 2019 year for them, I mean, 1 through 9, they were unreal. They were really good. They had the Big Ten Player of the Year, and their Friday, Saturday, Sunday rotation was just probably the best in the country at that time.
I was a little disappointed in their performance in the regional this year, but so be it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Eric Bakich, the head baseball coach there, is a notorious baseball coach. He's a great. Everybody who plays for him loves him, and I'm confident that he's going to get them back on their feet and go or take them to where they belong, and that's definitely in super regional Omaha or in Omaha. So
it would be nice to to be perennial tournament team now, again. Back in the 80s, they had a nice little run, but they were kind of, just had fallen off for about 20, I guess, that's a long time ago now. But, so it looks like he's bringing them back. He coached at Vanderbilt, right? I think. Do you recall?
I think he was an assistant at Vanderbilt. He was an assistant at East Carolina. He was actually the head coach at University of Maryland. I want to say in the 2010, maybe around that time. And then I want to say he coached at Clemson for a point, maybe. I could be wrong on that. But, I know Coach Bakich has jumped around a little bit. But, he's running the ship there at Big Blue.
So talk to me about Coach Woodward. I believe he's, he is he's the head coach and pitching coach. And I believe he's developed, and I saw a list of pretty long list of people of college players that have been drafted that he's
Mhm.
been in charge of?
I mean, not only that he's coached, but the guys that he's played with. It's a pretty long list of some really unreal players and common names in the major leagues. And playing for Coach Woodard, it was definitely an honor. He's kind of a legend in college baseball. I don't know if you know this, but he was undefeated at home during his 4 years at UNC Chapel Hill, which is a pretty unreal stat. But
Yeah.
playing for him and the knowledge that he kind of gives off is just incredible. And being able to show up to practice every day and having a guy like that on the field is we were pretty fortunate to have a coach like that. And and also like not only a good coach but also a really good guy, and that's kind of what I appreciated about him.
Did you, what was he like? I mean, was he part of the team outside of practice and stuff? You spend I'm guessing you spent a lot of your time with, off time and free time with players, that you played ball with it. That's where a lot of your friends. Was he around you guys ever outside of the practice or games and stuff like that?
Not too much when we were at home. I'd say when we're on the road, he's definitely around quite a bit because we're all staying in the hotel, and we have a conference room designated to our team. But typically when we're home, not too much. But like I said, when we're on the road, we're around him quite a bit, just kind of shooting the shit and talking about whatever with him and all the other assistant coaches.
Tell me what it's like when you roll into town somewhere and you're at a hotel. What's the schedule like, and how do you? I'm guessing you eat pretty well and those kind of things. What's that experience like?
I would assume that most people think that there's a lot of like downtime and chill time, but I mean with Charlotte, the way we traveled, we had a pretty like regimented itinerary, I'd say. So we would so for example, say we fly somewhere, say we're flying to Miami. We'll so for Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend series, we'll take off Thursday morning. We'll fly to Miami. We'll have charter buses picking us up from the airport. We'll hop on the buses and they'll take us to the hotel. And when we get to the hotel, we'll have time to change and unpack. And when we change, we'll change into our practice attire, and then we'll get lunch. They'll have lunch catered for us at the hotel. And so we'll eat lunch, we'll leave, we'll go practice. When we go to the other team's facilities to practice, we're probably there for about 2.5 hours. And then we'll come home, we'll have dinner, another catered dinner, and then we'll hit the sheets. Friday morning, we'll wake up. Friday games were typically 6 o'clock games, night games. So we'll wake up, breakfast was always 8 to 9, and 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So, just get down to breakfast between that hour. And then typically we would have like a move around session at 10 a.m., which is just kind of like a little dynamic warm up, just kind of getting the blood flowing. So we're not, laying in bed all morning. And then that's about 30 minutes. And after that, we'll probably get like 2 to 3 hours of kind of just like downtime, just take a nap, do what you have to do, get some homework done. And then around noon, we'll get lunch, we'll get smoothies, and then we'll have another hour or two just to kind of hang out, and then we'll get dressed and head to the field about 4 hours before the game, I'd say. And then game time, after the game, we'll get fed and then hit the sheets again. And then Saturday, basically the same schedule all over again.
Repeat. Cool. Tell me what's strength and conditioning like in the college baseball program? I mean, you always see it, strength and conditioning for football, right? And they're showing everybody's weight rooms, like the University of Michigan has a massive, incredible weight room. What's your strength and conditioning program like for baseball?
Well, so for Charlotte, our strength and conditioning program is for pitchers at least. Each program is tailored to each individual pitcher, which we're pretty lucky. I'd say we're one of the only programs in the country that does that. And so yeah, each pitcher will have their own program, and it'll consist of lower body days, full body days, upper body. and then a little bit of like a movement day. And like those movement days are typically the day before you'll throw live. So whether you'll throw a bullpen or you will throw in a game, and that's just kind of like not put not to put too much stress on your body and kind of just to get the blood flowing.
Do they do a lot of mobility work with you? You know, like in the arms, shoulders, and I'm and arms, shoulders, legs.
hmm Yeah, mobility is definitely incorporated into our like pregame routine, I'd say, or for each pitcher. I mean, each pitcher we have our own set routine. I would say, every pitcher on our staff goes through some sort of mobility circuit every day.
Right.
Pregame, before practice, off day, we're trying to do something to, get our body moving the right way and, help us get into or stay flexible.
Did you have I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but did you have a favorite stadium that you played in on the road in your career?
In my career, let me think about this one. I don't know if I can name one specific stadium, but I can tell you, a handful of cool stadiums that I played at.
Sure.
Rice in Houston was a beautiful stadium. I would say the playing surface wasn't the greatest, but I mean the stadium itself was beautiful, and it had a pretty nice backdrop of downtown Houston. The AAA baseball field in Charlotte, the Charlotte Knights, is a beautiful stadium. We played 2 games there. I want to say we played Rhode Island, and that's another beautiful stadium. It has the Charlotte backdrop, the skyline in center field. Oh boy, what else? Louisiana Tech's brand new field in Ruston, Louisiana is another gorgeous field. I mean, they did such a wonderful job. I mean, it's kind of sad that the tornado came and destroyed like half their town, but they're definitely fortunate enough to have a good athletic department to build a brand new stadium, a beautiful stadium in quite a short period of time.
I like those those AAA. We have here in Pensacola, we've got the Blue Wahoos here, and it's a AA team, but it's on Pensacola Bay, and it is freaking beautiful. It's awesome to go to games there and have that view of Pensacola Bay and be sitting there all in the evening watching baseball.
Yeah, minor league baseball does a good job with stadium placements and the upkeep with them.
They have to have a little bit more creativity and something for a draw. Not that the major league stadiums are amazing, but they have to have a little more creativity and have a little more of a draw there for that kind of thing for minor league baseball. I think.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the transfer portal overall? You think it's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a little questionable. I don't know if you've noticed, but now NCAA athletes are granted a one-time transfer deal, so they can transfer from a Division I school to a Division I school one time with no penalties, so they don't have to sit out a year. And I think that's a little like questionable because I think that just enables like anybody, like no matter what sport it is, just 1 year just to transfer. But like I guess like I understand it. Sometimes student athletes get into like really bad situations at various institutes, and sometimes they just want to leave and go to another program and play right away. So yeah, I think it's a good and bad thing. I think in a time like this, the transfer portal for baseball is flooded with like 3,000 players.
Wow.
And
3,000?
I want to say it's something ridiculous like that. I saw something on Twitter about it the other day, and it's just, the amount of players that are in the portal right now is unreal. And, players who might have an opportunity to go to, say like a Power 5 school right now, because there's so much talent in the portal, they might be overlooked a little bit. And not be able to go to the school that they might be able to, or that they could have a chance to go to.
I guess I've never thought of it that way, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're just trying to get out of a bad situation. They might be a little bit, they might be playing better or have they're turning out better than they thought they would, or than was expected, and want to move up into a bigger limelight, or where they're going to get noticed more or have better competition. I guess that's another reason that they could be transferring.
And I think it's a good thing for freshman athletes. I mean, when say like you're a 5-star football player and you're from the East Coast and you go to a school like UCLA or USC on the West Coast, and you soon find out that you don't like being too far away from home. And I think that gives them an opportunity to have that one-time transfer rule, and they can find a school on the East Coast that fits them a little bit better, which I think is, in that case, is a good thing.
It's good to get a player's perspective on that, because I'm kind of old school. I'm like, you made a commitment,
right?
Go there and play. They're counting on you. They could have had somebody else in that position if if they'd have known you weren't going to stay. So it's kind of a toss up, or kind of a, I don't know, catch-22 for me in a lot of ways. And the commitment to, I mean, it makes good sense, like what you say too, because you go all the way across the country. It's a big deal to be that far away from home for a lot of kids. You had the opportunity to stay close to home, as it turned out, and work out good for you in your first two situations, right? Hartford and Maryland are both close for you. We're both pretty much local.
Right.
So,
and even Charlotte being 7.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a day's drive. It's really not too bad.
So yeah, and football is really where the emphasis is placed, or I don't know, emphasis is placed, or gets all the attention for the transfer portal, right? Because football recruiting is what everybody talks about, a little bit about basketball, but football is really the one that takes over the conversation.
Everybody pays attention to it. People are going to notice the 5-star quarterback who transfers from one school to another, but people aren't going to know about take too much or look into the Friday night starter on the baseball team going to a different school. It's just,
right.
People don't look into it that much. But I think having this rule is definitely going to make some coaches a little bit nervous, because they're really going to have to do everything they can to keep some players that they really like, and maybe some players that they really like are looking to transfer elsewhere, and they know that they'll be able to play right away, and the coaches realize that, so they're going to have some trouble trying to keep some players at their schools, I'm sure.
Playing time's important for everybody. I mean, it's what it's all about. A little different for pitchers when you're not going to pitch every game, and when you're not going to be in every game. When you're a position player, you want to see the field. And if you don't see that opportunity to ever see the field, maybe it is better to go somewhere else where you can. Definitely.
Right.
I mean, definitely. You might as well make the most out of the experience.
Right. I mean, yeah, you get 4 to 5 years to play collegiate sport. You might as well go somewhere where you're going to play. So that's kind of the way I see it.
Right. Is baseball your favorite sport?
Yeah, it is my favorite sport. In high school, I played soccer and basketball as well. And, I played both sports competitively, but I will say that, baseball was the one sport that I had always known that I wanted to play beyond or past high school.
I remember hearing about about basketball as well, when your dad and I were working together. How much did your dad influence your baseball career? So for anybody talk a little bit about your dad's history with baseball.
Okay. Yeah. So my dad, he had a pretty crazy journey, kind of similar to mine, out of high school. So my dad's from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and we're just outside Fredericksburg in a small town called Stafford. And out of high school, he had the opportunity to go to a junior college in Florida called Seminole Junior College, which I want to say is kind of outside of Daytona Beach.
Okay. Yep.
And, after playing 2 years there, he had a really, really good 2 years. And I know he had some draft attention. And I want to say that the Atlanta Braves, they drafted him in the, don't fact check, or maybe fact check me on this one, but the 1971 draft. And I don't think it was the right money that my dad was looking for. So that ultimately led my dad to Belmont Abbey College, and that is a Division II school just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And my dad played 2 years at Belmont Abbey College and then went on to play in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. I want to say he played 2 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And so, yeah, I mean, just, growing up and being around baseball and being around baseball fans and having my dad there, it was just kind of like obligated. I felt like I was obligated to play baseball, and like that was what I had to do. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But
Right.
It's just like anybody in my position can definitely say that playing 18 years of baseball, there's definitely the highs and lows of during that time. And sometimes you question if that's what you want to do, and sometimes you don't you won't have the confidence in yourself to go out there and compete. And, I will say that, at times when, I didn't really have confidence in myself to go out and play, my dad was there to instill that confidence in me, which is something that you need. And I think that's someone who played the game and experienced some of the same things that I experienced. It's good to hear it from him.
We, during your high school career, we, obviously working together, we talked every day about, how it was going and everything. And he was very much. I mean, it's father son, man. It's the only way it could be. But he was very passionate and involved in your progress, and sometimes when he was wanting you to pay a little more attention or wishing you'd work
really
a little, it was fun talking with him and so this is cool because I saw it from, this has been, so I mean, college was how many years? 5 years? 5 or 6?
For me, 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years of college, and then I'm not sure how many, 6, then that makes it 14, 13, yeah, somewhere in there, in high school. So yeah, I've known about you for a long time. We met, I don't know who you were playing, but we met when I came up to a game one time. But you're 6'5" now, right?
6'5".
When did you have your growth spurt? I don't remember you being 6'5" when we met.
I would say throughout my 4 years of high school, I was probably growing a few inches each year. Probably when I graduated high school, I was, around a $175, and now I'm right around 210. So, I would say, I probably hit my growth spurt like junior to senior year again,
Okay, so you think were you 6'5" coming out of high school?
Definitely.
Nice. I don't remember that, but I remember
6'5", but 6'5" is a little different when you're 170 pounds compared to 6'5" at 210.
I remember you were lean.
Mm-hmm.
You're a golfer as well, right?
I do. I definitely have picked up golf a little bit more now that the season's over. I've played a good bit.
Does your dad play with you?
We played 3 straight days about 2 weeks ago, and it went well. But I will say on that like that end of that second day and come the third day, I bet my dad was feeling it a little bit.
He's a year or two older than you, so.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You take it easy on him, right?
No, but we had fun. We're definitely gonna be playing some golf a good bit this summer, and head down to the beach and play a little bit there as well. But yeah, no, we enjoy it. We definitely enjoy it, and I'm not the greatest. I will admit that I'm not the greatest, but I do have fun out there.
Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach, yes.
Yeah, I guess I remember. He lived down there for a while, didn't he?
I want to say he lived down there for around 20 years.
Yeah. I remember he had a good
After
bit
pro ball, that's where he lived.
Had a good bit of time down there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, what's the future look like? What do you said you're still working out at the Velo farm. Who's the owner of the Velo farm? What's your coach's name?
Ryan Steiner.
Ryan Steiner. Cool. We got to give him his props, right?
Yeah, give Ryan Steiner a shout out at the Velo farm.
So what's your what are you looking for? Do you what are the prospects for being drafted? Do you want to play? Do you want to play? You want to keep going? I mean, obviously you want to be. I mean, obviously you'd like to be the number one pick and be a
Right.
superstar. But what's it look like for you?
Well, I don't know if you know kind of the details of this year's draft, but it's a 20-round draft. It's not going to be a 40-round draft like it normally is, and it starts actually Sunday, July 11th, and it goes July 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. And July 11th is the first round only, and then Monday it's the second round through I want to say like maybe 15, maybe even the 20th round, and then the third day is basically where they call up undrafted free agents. And what an undrafted free agent is someone who isn't selected in the 20-round draft. It would probably be someone like me, fifth year senior, a senior, an older guy, and they call and they give them up and they just kind of give them an opportunity to just say like, hey, do you want to come play for us? And we'll give you a contract. It's not pretty at all.
Right.
And the whole point for an undrafted free agent is just the opportunity and just getting into the system and just giving it what you got. And I will say that that's definitely not out of the cards yet. There's definitely a possibility for that, and obviously I would take it in a heartbeat. And that's baseball still where my heart's at.
Right.
But if that doesn't happen, it's just I've kind of prepared for that and just ready for the next phase of my life. And definitely it's not I'm not too upset about it. It's just something that you kind of have to just like mentally prepare for, because when you go from playing baseball every day for God knows how long, and every day you're used to going to the field, it's definitely a little bit of a lifestyle change.
Right.
But no, I think I'm ready for it, and I'm excited for the next journey, and getting into the working field.
What's your backup? What'd you study in college?
Well, I was a sociology major in college, but ideally, I'm not going to do anything related to sociology. I have an interest in commercial real estate and the development behind it. So I'd like to go down that path, and
Nice.
we'll see how that goes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you a little bit more. I wish you the best of luck with baseball. I mean, I know if it was me, I'm playing. If I got a roof over my head and some food and a little bit, and they're paying me a little bit, I'm playing baseball for as long as I can.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's we'll see what happens.
Off-season real estate, off-season commercial real estate, baseball.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, listen, Nick, I appreciate you coming on. Feel free to, keep in touch with us. We'll follow you and keep an eye out on how your career's going, and hopefully we'll talk down the road a little bit about what you're doing next in the game.
Well, great. Thank you for having me. I'll look forward to that. This has been great. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. I have really enjoyed it. I'm sure they're listening, but tell your mom and dad and Mallory hi, and we'll talk down the road.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow, that was nice.
Yeah. Good guy.
Very engaging, right?
Oh yeah. He good luck with his career. Hopefully he'll.
Yeah, I hope he gets that opportunity. He's going to get an opportunity, so it's going to be fun to follow him and find out where he's going. Well, listen, next week we're going to be back on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central, and we're going to have Tony Adame on.
Oh, cool. Tony's a good guy.
Tony is a sports writer. He's covered the Big 12. I think he's covered at Kansas State. He's covered the football team at He's covered Baylor. He was at the Pensacola News Journal here for a while. He writes for, he's going to kill me, I do not remember what online
Am I remembering correctly? Was he the one that did the audio documentary thing
Yep,
too?
getting to
Okay.
it, getting
Okay,
to it.
okay.
Yes, you are correct. You're absolutely correct. He also does some podcast, and he's got another side. He has I don't want to call it a side gig because it's his passion, but he'll talk about it. In whatever Martha Grace, Nancy Grace? What's her show? Court TV or
Yeah.
is that what she was?
Oh, I don't remember.
He's kind of a cold case guy. That's what he is. He's a cold case aficionado.
Okay.
But he did a podcast. Look it up, called The Sheriff. Go and find the podcast called The Sheriff. I haven't. And Tony is a great storyteller. He speaks. He tells the story so well, and he's talking about the corruption in the during Prohibition. There was a sheriff that was going to stop the prostitution and the booze running in
Bootlegging. Yeah.
bootlegging. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Down here in the Panhandle, and got killed, and his son then became a sheriff and went about solving the crime. So it's a super cool podcast that we'll have to put that link in the notes. I'll have to look that up and do it. But anybody who's listening would really like it. So Tony's going to be on next week. And then the following week, we're going to have Colonel Chris Holsworth on. Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Marine Corps, who brings some serious and amazing energy to the table. You're going to love this guy. He is amazing. So we got the next 2 weeks planned out, which I'm pretty excited about. That'll make it a little bit easier on us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
To be ahead of the game.
And
so
is Tony going to call in, or is he coming in?
He's gonna do it live, and he's gonna sit here with us and do it.
Good, good.
So it's going to be exciting. By the way, I hope everybody enjoyed Frenchie last week. LaFontaine, United States Marine Corps retired. I went to the Pensacola Marine Corps League meeting last night because TEL is the title sponsor for the Marine Corps League for their 5K run for the children that Colonel Holsworth is the founder of. And this is the 37th year, I believe. Started after the attack on Beirut and the families that lost servicemen and that needed some help back then. And he started it then, and 37 years later, here we are, and he's going to come on and talk about that, talk about his career. It's going to be, and he went to private school down in Florida, and was a stud athlete. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll have him talk about some of that. That'll be great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So thank you for tuning in. Share it with your friends. Like us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And catch us, always look us up on patriottv.live and look up the other programs on patriottv.live. They've got some good shows on there that you're going to like and enjoy. So we will see you next week on Play Harder Radio. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.